All right, Etsy has made more specific changes to the Etsy creativity standards. And basically, what does that mean for you? It means they're letting you know what you cannot and can sell on the platform according to their creativity standards. So this is important so you don't get flagged, so you don't get your listings taken down, so you don't get your shop suspended. You want to make sure that you're within their standards that they've further defined. And this is something they've been working on the last couple of months, and now they just redefined it again. So let's go through it so you don't have to kind of interpret this and figure it out on your own. That's what I'm here for. We can I can help you through this policy because there are some pretty significant changes to this. So they have the three standards, which is basically you have to fall in one of these, either made by seller standard, designed by seller, handpicked by seller, sourced by seller. So those are all well and good, right? But what does that actually mean? Let's break down each category. So the first is made by seller. So this is basically physical items that you're making by the seller by hand using personal or computerized tools. So this includes hand-picked items crafted by hand. So this is like stuff that you make with a sewing machine, stuff that you make with a saw, a wooden chair that's built, things that you're actually crafting and making by hand, or you're designing them using digital tools. So that counts there. Hand assembled items, so commercially available supplies or components that a seller attached together or combined by hand to create a unique end product. So this is like using jewelry making tools to attach charms to a necklace, sewing patches onto a denim jacket, stuff like that. So this stuff you're basically assembling to make your own unique combination of stuff. And again, items produced using computerized tools. So physical items that a seller produced in their personal shop using computerized tools such as a laser printer, 3D printer, CNC, or Curate machine. These items must be produced based on a seller's original designed and are often personalized or customized to the buyer's specification, if I can say that right. So this is an important distinction because this says seller's original design. What people are doing, especially in 3D printing world, is they're buying designs, they're buying the templates, and they're using them to create the output. But that's not allowed, right? You're not changing it in some way. It has to be changed. So you can use, and this is my interpretation, but you can use a template, but you have to make changes. So whether you make changes to the coding of the template or you change the item after it's produced, you change the coloration or the colorway, you have to change it in some way, because what they're trying to avoid is 1,000 people showing, offering the same 3D printed item because they all bought those templates, right? That's problematic, and it's not going to help the platform be unique. So I'm sure that's why they're doing it like that. So the following examples are items that do not qualify, right? So this would be an item assembled by the seller per the manufacturer's instructions, like a flatback furniture or a Lego set. So there's nothing unique about it, right? You're just putting it together. Commercially available items with only superficial alterations, such as an addition of a simple mass-produced stick-on ornament or something like that. So it has to be a unique, significant change is what I'm envisioning here. And it says listings for items made by seller must use original photo or video content of the final product. So you can't use mass-produced photos, templates, or anything like that. When a listing is personalized or custom items such as monogrammed or engraved accessories, your first image must show a finished customized item rather than the blank product or a placeholder text, right? So you can't just use the template with some basic example. It has to be your own final product with a picture of it being completed. So here's an example of items made by seller. This is a shirt with embroidery, different designed Sasquatch there. There's a figure of some sorts. And then here's items that do not qualify. So this is obviously R2-D2 mass-produced Lego set. This is a mass-produced like coloring pencil case or something like that. So it has to be unique in some way. The next one is designed by seller. So sellers' original designs that are produced or printed by a third party are offered as a digital download. So you're actually designing this. So this is actually, I mentioned that up here. This is more like the design stuff is designed by seller. So this would be like templates and Canva stuff. So what's included in design by seller? So this would be digital downloads of original designs. So you can't just take a Canva template and then resell it, right? You have to alter it. You have to change it in some way that's unique. So a digital file of a seller's unique graphic design, audio, text document, or a scanned copy of a physical artwork. Seller's original designs produced by a production partner, original designs created by the seller and produced with the assistance of a production partner. So this is basically you're doing the design, you're getting someone to help you produce it. So print on demand, this is a big one for that. So you're taking your design, you're having them print it on a shirt or on a mug. So it has to be your design. You can't buy a design elsewhere and then send it to the print on demand company because there's nothing unique about that. So that's a big one. Seller prompted AI creations. So creations that were generated using AI tools, AI image generation such as DALL-E, based on the seller's original prompts. Sellers must disclose within their listing description if an item is created with the use of AI. So this is a big one too. So you can use your unique prompts to create designs, but it has to be unique. You can't buy the prompt and then create the design from that prompt that was bought. It has to be a unique prompt and it has to be disclosed. So that's a big one. AI is, coming up more and more. Now, the following examples are items that do not qualify as designed by seller. So this is a bundle, a collection, a scan, or a PDF of someone else's work. Of course, you're just putting it together. It's not yours. AI prompt bundles. So this is just selling bundles. Whether you created them or not, you're not allowed to sell AI prompts on Etsy. For whatever reason, probably they're trying to limit the amount of people that are buying them and then reselling them or using them for the output and then selling that as their own. So that's forever changing, right? So here's some examples of listings that qualify for design by sellers. This is like art. This is a printed towel. This is stationery. Examples of items that do not qualify. ChatGPT prompts. I don't even know what this picture is. This is a PDF file book that the seller did not personally create or design. So they told me what it is. So like I already said. All right, the next category is handpicked by seller. So this one gets a little murky. So vintage items from nature and certain collections of items that a seller personally selected and curated for sale. So this is items like vintage, so items that are 20 plus years that the seller personally curated or collected. Etsy may ask for additional photo documentation or information about the vintage items in our shop, trying to verify it. So this is if you go out to a yard sale, you pick up a vintage plate or a vintage piece of jewelry or something like that. You can sell that if it's 20 plus years old, right? Items from nature. So one of a kind natural items that the seller personally found or cultivated as long as they were permitted by our policies. So they have a whole plants, herbs, seeds, endangered, threatened wildlife products, things. So you can't go out and sell stuff that's like you don't have the rights to or like is endangered. So make sure you read that. But it's stuff that you're actually going out and finding. Like if you're going out and finding rocks, somewhere in a quarry and you're reselling those, right? You can't go out and buy a bag of rocks at Lowe's or Home Depot and resell those. You didn't, you didn't find those, you didn't cultivate those. So that's kind of the distinction there. And the item might have been mounted, potted, polished, or sliced for a collection, display, or cultivation. So as long as it was formed originally or organically rather than man-made, right? So you can't you can't man-make the whole thing, right? It has to have been formed. You cultivated, you found it, and then you made it into something else. So an example is like a rock, a genode, a shell, a fossil, a plant, a dried flower. So you had to have found that, and then you can do whatever else you want with it, right? Gift baskets. So this is a big one. So this is an assortment of different types of items that the seller personally selected and creatively packaged to create a new unique set. So this is something that I believe before you could not sell gift baskets unless you made all the stuff in a gift basket. Now they're letting you cultivate and create gift baskets of stuff that you didn't make, but you're curating it for the specific buyer. So you have to make sure that you're curating it and putting the things together. You're finding that you're not like just buying a set of something and then throwing it in a gift basket, right? You didn't curate that. So it says boxes with unknown contents containing a single item or an item in bulk, like mystery boxes. Generic concepts such as candy, clothes do not qualify as gift basket themes. So that's a big one. Sellers must list every item contained in a curated gift basket or box in the listing description. So maybe like a new dog parent themed gift box containing an assortment of dog treats, dog bags, a leash, stuff like that, right? It has to be clear. The following examples are items that do not qualify as handpicked by seller. So resold commercially available items that are newer than 20 years old, even if the item is designed to appear vintage. So it has to be 20 years or older. So you got to know how old it is. You can't just find stuff and be like, it looks old. Resold commercially available gift baskets with a single item type or from a single commercial brand, as opposed to a collection of different item types selected and creatively packaged by the seller. Just trying to avoid mass-produced stuff and stuff just kind of thrown together as like a bundle or as like a lot. That's not really a gift basket, right? Trying to make it unique. That's what Etsy's going for, so that's why. Resold items from nature, so like bulk landscaping rocks sold from Home Depot, like we talked about. Again, here's some examples of what we were talking about. Good, bad, I already talked about it. All right. The last category is sourced by seller. So these are items that enable buyer creativity, including craft and party supplies and items that are personalized with a buyer's custom text or image. So this one gets a little weird too. You have to pay attention to this. So this includes craft supplies or tools or materials whose primary purpose is to create a new item by hand. So like craft tools such as knitting needles or clay sculpting tools, craft materials such as yarn or beads, craft blanks, items that are not intended to be used without further crafting, such as paintable figurines or unfinished wooden rounds, and craft kits such as tie-dye or terrarium kits. Party supply items, so items whose primary purpose is to decorate a special event to give it a unique or personal aesthetic. So this is like festival table decorations, balloons, streamers, gift wraps. And then buyer personalized items produced by a production partner. So items created using a buyer's unique text or image produced by a production partner. So you design the text, they're creating the banners, they're creating the flyers, they're creating the balloons based on that, to give you more context. All right, so the following examples are items that do not qualify as sourced by a seller. So resold blank items that are ready to use without craft intervention, right? So just blank t-shirts. You could sell those, someone could just wear them. You can't do that. You can't sell blank t-shirts, hats, tumblers. There's no intervention in that. Resold generic cooking tools or ingredients. So it's like chemical compounds, bicycle parts, repair tools, office, construction, gardening, cosmetic, or DIY supplies. Generic resold items that may be used at a party, but either are not decor or also have everyday uses, such as plain furniture, generic tableware, stage lights, speakers, costumes, party favors, seasonal holiday decor, not specific to a single gathering or celebration, right? So you can't just sell bulk items. You can't sell lights. You can't sell stuff like that. It has to be stuff that you curated, that you put together, that you sourced for a particular event, for a particular party. Again, it needs some unique intervention. That's really the common theme of this whole thing. So make sure that you're in these guidelines. I know some of them can get a little tricky, but it's better safe than sorry. So you're not getting flagged, you're not getting taken down. So if you're unsure, let me know. Put your questions below. I'll try to answer them and make sure you're okay. But that is what I wanted to go over today. So you're make sure you're in the right. Last thing I want you to do is start a shop and then immediately get shut down because you're not within these standards. They designed these standards to make it easier for people to understand what they can and cannot sell, but it's still a little bit difficult, right? It's still a little bit hard. There's still some ambiguity to this, and we need to kind of think through it a little bit more to make sure we're on the up and up. And last but not least, if you want a fun motivational, engaging way to grow and build your shop for now and in the future, pop over to my Etsy Games VIP program. Check it out. It's a fun community that we have live group coaching calls. I help you out with your SEO. I help write your listing titles and tags. I'm helping new and existing sellers with trends right now. I'm doing all the recent trends for particular niches, so I can give you your very own trend report. Again, we're doing your done for you SEO. You can ask any questions. You can get real answers from a real person that is really selling on Etsy and has sold for the last 10 years. The key to this, and besides all the resources and the help, there is a classroom where you can get the Etsy Success Roadmap and tons of other resources and downloads to help you grow your business with everything I've learned over the last decade. But the real key to this, it's not a spammy Facebook group. Everyone here is positive. It's motivational. Why? Because I have to charge for it. If it's free, you're going to get some type of crazies in there. So I charge a minimal amount. It's only $10 right now. There is a free trial, I believe, right now still. That weeds out all the bad actors, but it's an investment in your future. And I give away way more value than that, as you'll see. Similar programs are literally hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. I know you're trying to grow a business, so I want to make it obtainable for you to be able to do that at a very minimal cost, but give you tons of value. So I hope to see you in there. There's a link below. Join, have fun. Let me help you out. Communicate with other sellers. Let's have a good time and grow our shops together.